Have you ever heard of a battle where a king tried to cheat death, only to be taken out by a completely random shot? It's a wild story from ancient history, and it all went down at the Battle of Ramoth-Gilead. Imagine this: two powerful kings, Ahab of Israel and Jehoshaphat of Judah, are teaming up to reclaim the city of Ramoth-Gilead from the Arameans. But there's a problem. A prophet named Micaiah has just delivered some seriously bad news to King Ahab. He's prophesied that if Ahab goes into this battle, he won't come back alive. Now, Ahab isn't one to just accept his fate. He's a king, and he thinks he can outsmart destiny. So he comes up with a plan. A very clever, or so he thought, plan. He tells his ally, King Jehoshaphat, "You wear your royal robes, look like the king, and I'll go into battle disguised as a regular soldier. The enemy will target you, the obvious king, and I'll be safe." It's a risky move for Jehoshaphat, but he agrees to it. He trusts in their alliance, and perhaps in a higher power, to protect him. So the scene is set. The battlefield is a storm of chaos. Dust and sand are kicked up by thousands of thundering hooves. The air is thick with the metallic clang of swords, the splintering of wooden shields, and the terrifying whiz of flying arrows. Horse-drawn chariots, the tanks of the ancient world, crash into each other with brutal force. It's a terrifying, swirling vortex of combat. The Aramean king had given his chariot commanders a very specific order. Do you unfight with anyone, small or great, except the king of Israel. They were on a mission to find and eliminate Ahab. So, as the battle rages, they spot the only man on the field dressed in royal splendor, King Jehoshaphat. They immediately swarm his chariot, thinking they've found their target. Jehoshaphat, surrounded and facing certain death, cries out, and something incredible happens. Maybe it was the sound of his voice, or perhaps they realized he wasn't the king they were looking for. But the Aramean captains suddenly pull back. They break off their attack and leave him, turning back into the chaos to continue their search for the real king, Ahab. Jehoshaphat has a close call, but he survives, just as the prophecy hinted he might. Meanwhile, Ahab is hidden somewhere in the fray, fighting in his plain armor. He must be feeling pretty smug, thinking his brilliant plan worked perfectly. He's blended in, invisible among his troops, while his friend took all the heat. He's avoided the enemy's main thrust and cheated the prophecy, or so he thinks. But destiny, as it turns out, has a funny way of finding you. Across the battlefield, a lone Aramean soldier, just one anonymous archer in the sea of fighters, pulls back his bow. He's not aiming at anyone in particular. He just draws, aims his bow at the sky, and lets the arrow fly at random into the Israelite ranks. It's a shot in a million, one of thousands of arrows filling the air that day. We follow this single arrow as it arcs through the sky. It soars over the heads of soldiers, past clashing chariots, through the thick, dusty air. It seems to have a mind of its own, guided by an unseen hand. And where does it land? It finds the one tiny, vulnerable gap in King Ahab's disguise. The arrow strikes him right between the joints of his armor, a place no shield could cover, a spot of pure, deadly luck. Or was it luck? The wound is fatal. Ahab knows it instantly. But even in his final moments, he shows a strange kind of courage. He tells his chariot driver, "Turn around and get me out of the battle, because I am wounded." He doesn't want to cause a panic among his troops. So, propped up in his chariot, facing the enemy, he bleeds out as the battle continues to rage around him. He remains there until evening, and as the sun sets, King Ahab dies, just as the prophet Micaiah had foretold. It's a powerful story about pride, fate, and the idea that you can't run from your destiny. Ahab tried everything to escape his prophesied end, using deception and putting his own ally in danger. But in the end, it was a random, anonymous single arrow fired with no target that fulfilled the prophecy. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the biggest plans can be undone by the smallest, most random chances. If you love diving into epic stories from history and mythology like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more amazing tailies to share with you. Thanks for watching.